Hi everyone, this is Rachel from Mini Ministry, and just coming to you today with a very interesting thing to share with you. Last night I went and watched the movie Unplanned at our local theater. And first of all, it was really amazing because we don't live in a huge community, but this theater was filled. And that was really amazing to see. But I have to tell you, this movie was one of the most profound films I have seen in a very, very long time. It was very brutally honest. It was horrific. It was beautiful and sad all at the same time. If you don't know or are not familiar, this is the story of Abby Johnson, who was the youngest director of Planned Parenthood. She had spent her years telling women that what they were doing was a good thing and that everything would be fine, there was nothing wrong. And she had climbed the corporate ladder till one day she witnesses truly what abortion really means and what it is. And in that moment, her heart is changed. And in that moment, God grabs her. I'm not going to go into detail because I want you to see the film. But I have to tell you, before you go see this film, you need to prepare yourself spiritually and mentally because it is not like any other film you have ever seen. 2 weeks ago, I rented the movie Gosnell and watched that. And that movie was horrible. But it was a different kind of horrible. It was just the evil involved within it, which is all there. But it was just a different kind of feeling of a film. Now, I'm telling you this because when I got home last night, the first thing I pretty much did was drop to my knees in prayer. And I prayed, I can't tell you for how long, the tears were streaming. I'm about to cry now. Because my heart was so burdened for the lost, so burdened for those children taken, for the women who believes the lie, for the women caught in the cycle of abortion, and for people like Abby Johnson who, were involved within this. Abortion has been around now for decades and is not only legal, it is now legal in states like New York that you can now terminate your child up to basically the day before he's born. As long as that child is inside your womb, you have the right over that child, is what the law basically is saying. Now, we could sit here and have arguments saying that, well, it's for the mother's health or the baby's health or whatever the case may be. I don't care how you expel it. I don't care how you want to justify your actions. But 4 words come to my mind. Thou shalt not murder. God makes it very clear in His Word that we are not to take another's life. It also makes it clear that from moment one, when we are conceived in the womb, He sees us and He knows us. He's knit us together in our mother's womb, the Bible tells us. It also tells us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. I understand that there are many women in this world and in our country that may be dealing with an unwanted pregnancy. It's not something they planned. They might be in a scope of life where they may not financially be able to support a child. They don't feel maybe they're emotionally ready. Or they just simply were with a guy, didn't think it all through, or things happen, and they're not ready to be with that person forever. Unfortunately, too often in this country, especially in places like Planned Parenthood, we justify the actions. Well, you don't need to take care of a child right now. You're not ready for that. Why burden yourself? We do it in the name of women's rights, women's justice, reproductive rights. But no matter how you twist it and turn it, abortion in its finest point is murder, I believe. I cannot tell you how distraught it makes me and how obviously emotional it makes me to think of the thousands upon thousands of children that we have murdered in our country alone. Abby Johnson alone states that she was probably in charge of or responsible for dealing with about 22,000 abortions in her clinic, just in her time there. Gosnell reported somewhere of, I can't remember what it was, I want to say 60,000 abortions. And he did them very disgustingly. Abortion, no matter how you do it, is wrong. I think too often as Christians, sometimes we try to hide ourselves from these things. We don't want to see the dirt. We don't want to see the truth of things. But the most important thing you can do is to sit through a movie like I did last night and honestly get the view of what abortion really is and what it really means. We have to stop pretending these things don't happen, because they do. They happen daily in our country and elsewhere. Other countries have abortion that's not always as clean as what we even have. My friends, we have to stand up for the truth. We have to be advocates for the unborn. And while I can't stand outside of Planned Parenthood and pray, I can drop to my knees on a regular basis and pray for these children. Pray for these mothers and pray for these workers. I think it's time that us as Christians need to rise up. We need to be honest about what this world is. We also need to be loving and respectful about how to fight it. We need to share the truth of the hope that is only in Jesus Christ that can save these people. Because that's really the only hope that they can have. I also want to say to any of you who have had an abortion, or to any of you who are in the abortion industry, your hands are not clean. But you know what? Neither are mine. Because the one thing we all have in common is that we are all sinners and we all need Christ to save us. So don't think that it's too late for you. It's not. God offers redemption through Christ. And He can make you clean. To the woman who is considering abortion, no matter what your circumstance may be, I don't want you to think about abortion as a way out for yourself. I want you to think about that child within you. What would that child want? Do you think that that child wants you to murder him? Do you think that child wants you to take away his or her option of life? I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Being a parent is so hard. But you have options. You can give your child up for adoption. Or you can raise that child. I want you to be thinking it through, not just thinking of a way out. Because it's not just about you. It's about the child within you. To all my Christian brothers and sisters, I need to encourage you in two things right now. For one, I want to encourage you to pray fervently. This is not something that's just going to go away tomorrow. This is part of our culture now. And it's horrific and sad and disturbing on so many levels, but yet it is a fact of our culture and of our world. But the best way that we can fight it is on our knees before the Lord. And not just as a simple prayer, but really pouring our hearts out and asking for deliverance. The second thing is I want to encourage you to be involved in ways that speak the truth of God's word. Whether that be at the polling place. We don't want to have people in the offices of government that believe in abortion. There are many things that we can do. We can vote for the people who believe in that standard. We can volunteer our time at a clinic, perhaps not a Planned Parenthood, but there are many clinics. We have like hope centers around my neighborhood and things like that, where you can talk to these women and really just to be a part of it. My friends, I encourage you to see this film. I wouldn't consider taking a kid too young. There is blood. There is a very honest depiction of abortion, to the point that I wanted to cover my eyes, but I forced myself not to, and I'm so glad I didn't, because the truth is, that is what is happening thousands of times over in this country on a daily basis. And it's time that we don't shut our eyes. It's time that we open them and we see this world for what it is and cry out to the Lord so that He will hear us and deliver us from this evil. So see the movie, pray, and be an advocate for the unborn. Because it's not going to stop just because we want it to. But we serve a God who could help make it stop eventually. And one day, Christ is going to come back and redeem all of this. And until then, I'm just going to be His faithful servant and wait patiently for that day. Thank you all. Have a blessed day.